What's up? I hope you're having a safe drive wherever you are. My guest of the day today is somebody who started her career at the weekend edition of The Mint, which is a business daily newspaper. You would know that. We're part of the Hindustan Times group at Radio 1. She wrote culture and lifestyle related stories, and after 5 years of being a reporter, she moved to New York for her master's and studied history of modern design at Parsons. And her thesis focused on the relationship between craft and design in a living, cultural, and applied context. While she was in the US, she did short stints at Herman Miller, the textile studio Maharam, and Metropolis magazine. And 2019, she joined Condé Nast India office in Mumbai. And the first 2 years, she worked as managing editor and then took on the role of the head of editorial content for AD, Architectural Digest, in 2021. Her primary goal remains keeping quality and integrity of content across digital, print, videos, and IRL events like the AD 100, AD Design Show, AD JSW Prize for Contemporary Craftsmanship, and to do it in new, agile, and collaborative ways. Komal Sharma, welcome to Radio 1. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. It's so fun to hear your own bio being read.
No, but I'm very curious to know, before we get down to the AD scheme of things, why somebody who's writing culture and lifestyle suddenly decided to take this detour to study design and modern design at that.
Yeah, I've thought about it myself, and I think I was always writing about design, but without knowing that I was doing it, because it's such a part of everything. You know, it's on our streets, it's in our skyscrapers, it's in this studio. Like design is everywhere. It's from the cup to everything. And I started out writing about culture, but eventually I realized I was writing about design, and I was at Mint at that time, but it didn't have a beat, so to say. Like every newspaper has a beat of film and style and design, and I was sort of stuck in between. I was doing these one-off stories about interiors. And at some point, I started to realize that no, there is a real thing. I mean, architecture is one, but just everyday domestic applied design is a thing, and I can actually study it properly. And so I started to research a bit. I was always interested. It was at this cross section of art, craft, design, interiors, how people live, how we connect with our surroundings. And at some point, I realized. It's a full industry, and it's something I can study, and so I decided to take some time off from working, and that's how I did my masters. And the funny thing is that when you start to study it, like a whole world opens up, and then you sort of filter back down to what is of interest to you in this big world.
Okay, one of the reasons Komal is here is because the fifth edition of the AD Design Show, the Architectural Digest Design Show, is about to kick off September 20th to 22nd. This is at the Dome, wonderful venue, the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Stadium, NSCI. Tickets are live now on Skillbox, SKILLBOXES, skillboxes.com. So it's www.skillboxes.com. And under the events, you'll see the AD Design Show. Please go get your tickets. It's really 3 days of groundbreaking designs, innovative solutions, unmatched creativity. What did it start off being, and what has it become now? Every event or IP always has a genesis, a waveform that, this is what you start off doing, and then it becomes a whole different animal in a beautiful way. Is that what happened with the AD Design Show?
Yeah, and it's still happening. I feel like we started with this idea of bringing a community together, because design and interiors is sort of niche. It's not the most mainstream, even though we are living it all the time, but we're not actively sort of participants. And what the AD magazine is, the AD Design Show was literally the in real life version of that. People's homes, interior brands, what is happening in craftsmanship, who are the experts who talk about this. So it was really started with the idea of bringing real people together and making a great big meeting point and having a big party. And over the years, it got better and better. Like it's actually how the various parts come together. And we started, like, sometimes there is too much skew on one, like let's say too many brands and less sort of programming. Sometimes there's too much programming, too intellectual, too sorry. So that getting that sweet spot takes a little bit of time. And now in its current iteration, it's a bit of a balance of a lot of things. So the idea is that there's something for everyone. You could be a professional architect or a designer. You could be a design student who wants access to people and information. You could just be a homeowner who wants to know which art to buy. You could just be somebody who loves saris and handlooms and Indian textiles. You could be somebody who's interested in photography, fashion, or interiors or architecture. So when you're sitting at the center and conceptualizing this whole thing, you want to make sure that there's a little bit for everyone. And that's what we're trying with our current edition.
Also, I believe you use your space very beautifully and very optimally. What normally is used to going into the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Stadium, the Dome, to see a concert or a music experience. And there's the stage and there's the audience. But you've broken them up into some very neat areas. I believe there's a talk room, there's a studio room. Are there also installations that people can be a part of? Yeah.
Yes. Actually, you're right. The space design is very important. It really matters how people experience a space. So if I were to explain it to you, like imagine there is a village square and there's a banyan tree in the middle. So we have what we call an AD lounge, which is literally a little stage or a little party area right in the center with no walls and complete line of sight to see what all is around you. And on top of that, we have this installation that sort of hangs from the ceiling, and it's this very interesting young artist called Yaz Contractor who's doing it. And then around it, we have two concentric circles. So there's an inner circle where all the sort of big brands and sponsors and, the key sort of participants have booths. And then in the outer circle, there is a lot of smaller sort of pavilions. And like there's a craftsmanship pavilion, there is a new discoveries pavilion. So that there is space and room to walk around, and you don't want to be so packed in together that there's no elbow room, and you don't have just the breathing space to look at things and enjoy them. So we've done it in this sort of circular format, and that way this dome it's where we first started, and now after the pandemic we sort of went somewhere else, and now we're going back again. It's a space which that provides you certain amount of like intimacy, like it's closed in, yet it's expansive. And we've tried to use these circles to sort of give people enough room to look at one thing at a time. I also want to talk about, like I mentioned a little about the various sections of pavilions.
Sure.
So yes, there are.
You have something known as the Karigar Pavilion,
Yes,
which is obviously the craftsman.
Yes, that is one of our most popular. Like, people come, turn left, and go straight there without seeing anything else. But we basically bring, all design in India, the superpower is craftsmanship, because we have this massive treasure, or like entire families and villages and clusters who are, whether they're weaving, they're doing bidri work, they're doing carpentry, whatever, wood, marble, it's massive. So how can a design fair in India not include the crafts of India? So we have one pavilion which is called the Craftsmanship Pavilion, and it has about 7 different booths. And like this time we have an embroidery guy coming from Kashmir, we have this black pottery guy coming from Meghalaya, there's somebody who does these beautiful like Pahari paintings but in large scale murals from Rajasthan. And they come there not just with their product, so to say, but the craftsperson comes and they are weaving on site, or they're
so you're telling me the master craftsman shall be at work?
Yes.
And if you visit, chances are you will actually be seeing them at work.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's very interesting because parents come, they bring their kids, and the kids are fascinated, and it's a meeting point. Like later, so many architects will message me and say, can you give me that potter's number? Can you give me... So, it's really about bringing people together. That's the whole drama about.
Wonderful. Guys, please go check them out. And of course, I gave you the website, architecturaldigest.in, right?
Yes.
Architecturaldigest.in. Find them on social media, start following them on Instagram. Komal, this was fun.
Yes, thank you. This was fun.
There's a lot of learnings from me, and looks like I've got to come over and see what you guys have put together. It
Yes,
sounds
please,
so exquisite.
absolutely. I will give you a private tour.
That's so kind of you. Wonderful.
All
And I'll
right.
see you soon. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you.
94.3 Radio 1.